MakingStarWars.net.
Hello, I am Jason Ward from MakingStarWars.com. How's it going, Rob? The Robbie, the computer 486 robot?
And I love my DL 333. Right?
Yeah.
DX, sorry. DX DL's a blaster, but my
DL
DX
44? What is it? I can't remember now. It's all too.
Yeah, I got Sound Blaster on this puppy. You know what I mean? Yeah, we're good to go.
We had Max and then we lost her. Max is always late no matter what happens. The internet makes sure.
No matter how early I try to be, and I'm on time.
Early. You were here. I took roll. I was like, hootie tootie disco cutie, and you were like here, and I marked you as here. And then how's it going, Max?
It's going good.
It's going.
It's going.
Max, are you the kind of gamer that always keeps the turbo button on? Because that's what I do. I always just keep that turbo button on.
Yes.
Turbo sucks. Turbo sucks. I had a NES Advantage. I had the NES Advantage and the NES Max. I was more of a NES Max guy, but that turbo, I was faster. And there was like a certain rhythm to games that the turbo just couldn't anticipate.
The rhythm method?
Uh-huh. Yeah. You'd walk away
I feel like Knight Rider,
mommy or daddy.
When we use it. Yeah. When we use a turbo button, I feel like I'm in Knight Rider. I gotta do it.
Turbo. It's turbo time.
Yeah. I left my Atari on and was playing ping pong, and I guess it's taking up a lot of my.
I feel like this is like a euphemism for something that's above my pay grade.
Everyone knows the best game on Atari is Warlords 4-player. You got to get his little
Warlords.
pads. Yeah.
Remember that game where you're like a little, obviously that's kind of redundant, but you were a little square and there was a dragon. It was like a dungeon kind of. It was pretty fun.
Adventure.
Was it just called Adventure? No wonder why.
Yeah,
I can't remember what it's called. Yeah. My dad had a girlfriend when I was I was probably like 10 when he got with her, and they would just go do adult stuff, and she had an Atari, and eventually I'm like, I don't want to be here. This sucks. Like there's just an Atari and a TV. And so she bought a Nintendo, and I was like, that's kind of better. But then her daughter got really jealous that she got a Nintendo for me. So then she took the Nintendo from me and gave it to her daughter, who was then really super controlling and weird about it. So once again, I didn't want to go there. And then Super Nintendo came out, and she went, and I wanted to go home to my house because it was my house and I'm a kid, and you want to go to your house with your stuff. Mm-hmm. And this lady just freaks out, and she pulls out a Super Nintendo, and she's like, I got you this Super Nintendo and I'm taking it back. And I was just like, I don't fucking want a Super Nintendo then. And then it was kind of good though, because I think I only ever got a girlfriend because of that moment, because I was actually anti Super Nintendo. I didn't want anything to do with video games at that point. And I got into like guitar playing and stuff. And then I got a Super Nintendo, and I got real fat. Kind of good time.
The lamest game console I ever got tricked into playing. This kid at school would tell me, "Hey man, I got this console. It's got jets, and you got a gun. You're shooting stuff down. It's all realistic." And I'm like, "Really?" He's like, "It's like Top Gun." I'm like, "All right, man. I gotta see this." He takes me to his house. It was called an Action Max, and all it was you put a tape in the VCR, and they put a little light gun like sticker to your little orb on your screen, and it's a gun, and all it does is keep score on the thing. It's a videotape. It plays videos. It was like Captain Power with the score counter, and I was like, really? He's like, this is realistic. I'm like, it's a freaking video. You can't move the jet, can't do nothing. This sucks.
Yeah. Oh, before I forget though, that woman wrote me on Facebook and it wants to be friends. What should I respond with?
Hootie tootie disco cutie. And if she gets it, it's meant to be.
Oh man, I think I have to write it back and say, give me the fucking Nintendo. Should I just write?
Yeah, well, remember that I told
fucking
you I had that
soda.
girlfriend that just moved into my room, my place, right? And it was the other day I was telling you
I think it might have been the girl who I broke up with who just didn't go home after.
Yeah. When she did leave, she stole my copy of Chrono Trigger. You believe this shit? The one I found brand new at Hollywood Video when they were finally closing down for $20. Like, it was in pristine, the box, everything pristine.
Is she cool? Was she cool?
Huh? No.
I mean, it's kind of cool that she stole that game, though. I gotta admit, I'm kind of like wondering what she's up to right now.
No, she's with the same dude she got with right after me, and they got 3 kids. They probably still got my fucking game.
Yeah, he's probably like, she has Chrono Trigger. This is a keeper. Whoever let her go was a real idiot. Now, I'm kidding. All right, so
right.
oh yeah,
I mean, I'm the keeper when you think about it. I'm the one who fucking got the game. Should be with me right now. He should.
So I don't know if I just completely brain farted yesterday, but did we have an episode called like Jude Law in Star Wars and never talk about Jude Law in Star Wars?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. Okay. so I think maybe we'll talk about that for a few minutes. We lost Max again. Hopefully she comes back. But I like to think she's on some kind of adventure.
I went to go look to see this morning to see if anyone left a comment, right?
Yeah.
And then I look at that graphic, I'm like, I don't ever remember talking about Jude Law.
Yeah.
Yeah. Turns out we didn't. Oh well.
Yeah. Hey, Jude. Okay. So Jude Law cast in mystery Star Wars series by Bespin Bulletin. You think that's his Christian name? Anyways, hello there and happy Lego Star Wars Day. Dude, that was yesterday, you dumbass. Oh, that's right. We're late to the story again. Initially, I did not want to cover this rumor. Look, he spelled it like this because he's fancy. That's how fancy British people spell it. Yeah, he does.
By the way, you can switch Google Docs to British standard so you'd get all that cool fixing. That's what I did. It makes all my emails seem legit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm actually I'm a red-blooded American. No, anyways, I did not want to cover this rumor as it came from a very questionable source, but I keep getting asked about it, and I see some of the social media clout chasers, those who bandwagon every rumor. Yeah, I when they're not doing karate in the front yard, it's probably what they're doing, peddling the story. So is Jude Law in a Star Wars project? And what would that project be? Let's break it down. Oh shit! No, he didn't say that. He just said it normal. Sorry, I wanted to wake you up. This outlet in question that claims Law has signed on for a Star Wars project is Dumois. Is that how you say that? Dumois? I don't know. Dumois. I don't speak the French fry. An extremely popular Instagram account that shares celebrity gossip from tips they receive via email, and anybody can send in a tip, and they aren't independently verified by the account. So I can just
guess what I'm doing tonight.
you know what I'm saying?
Dex moi.
Mm-hmm.
Dex moi.
Rumor Bespin Bulletin's voicing Jar Jar Binks in the Cassian Andor prequel series.
Wow,
baby! It's called Baby Spies. The account has posted it's had correct information before in regards to celebrity gossip, such as Harry Styles dating actress and director Olivia Wilde, but it appears the accuracy of the page is 50-50. I've seen people compare this accuracy of the account to a cheap celebrity gossip magazine.
Same with me.
Yep. Dumois posted that posted what they call a blind item. Oh, we got some hot goss here, as Star Wars Santa says. Star Wars Santa is all about the hot goss, in case people don't know.
Deploy the goss. Yeah,
subscribe to Star Wars. Subscribe to Star Wars making Star Wars Santa's channel. For well, I'm there on Monday, and
you biffed that one, buddy.
Yeah, which leaves out names and specifics for followers to work out. The post read, "A prime British early 2000s film stud is adding to his recent nerdgasm resume." Marvel Wizarding World, if you just say what the fucking movie is, I mean, that's not really like at that point. Just say it. Just
Oh,
say
that's
it.
right. He was in Captain Marvel, right?
I don't
Yeah.
know. I didn't
Yeah,
see
he
it.
was in Captain Marvel.
I didn't see it because
He was the
Captain
bad guy.
Marvel is Captain Marvel the cute lady who everybody's mad at for no reason.
Yeah, hey, look,
Probably.
it's fun because they go to the 90s, and Stan Lee's last appearance in a Marvel movie, he's sitting on a train reading the script to Mallrats in 1994 or 5. Dude. It's great. It's a
Yeah.
fun little item.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyways, yeah, I didn't see it because the Phantom Menace told me not to.
Yeah, it's not the best
I'm
movie,
joking.
but it's not horrible. You could do a lot worse, you know?
Sure.
It's all
Sure.
right.
We've all had that morning after. The most obvious announcement Star Wars series the post could be referring to is the upcoming Grammar Rodeo, or considering what that publication's called, maybe it's Grammar Rodeo, working title series, which recently began pre-production in Culver City, also where they shoot a lot of porn. California ahead of its shoot beginning in June. Little is known about Grammar Rodeo, but it takes place during the High Republic era and will focus on a group of preteens. Filming on this series will run from June until December, with Spider-Man No Way Home director John Watts talks to direct an unspecified number of episodes, and John Favreau on board, or John Favreau, since we're on that we're binge today.
Dueling John's here.
Yep. John to John. John. Alongside the group of preteens, it was previously reported. They were yeah, they still were preteens. It was previously reported by the Illuminati that Grammar Rodeo was looking to cast a male in his 30s or 40s for an unknown role in the series. And currently Jude Law is 49 years old, slightly older
younger
than
than
Lucasfilm.
Jared Leto.
Yeah, and then it just kind of like goes on from there. So
Okay.
So the thing is, yeah, he doesn't really make the age. Welcome home, Max. He doesn't really make the age. I don't know, requirement, but he's also fucking Jude Law. So I think that definitely would make that a possibility. But I also find it kind of funny because we were comparing that series to based off of the casting grids. We were calling it Hogwarts, and we were calling it Ghostbusters Afterlife. But I find it funny that you have that Hogwarts analogy that we were making, and then this guy's literally hanging out with Dumbledore, doing Harry Potter shit.
He's so much like Ewan that I think they need to give him that shaved bald samurai, forehead thing, so people don't get it confused with Obi-Wan. Like the average person not paying attention would be like, "Hey, it's Obi-Wan." If they give him the beard, if they're not looking, I'm telling you, hey, bro. People thought Jyn Erso was Daisy Ridley. You know what I mean? Like,
Jude Law honestly probably would have made a great Grand Inquisitor, to be honest with you too.
That's true.
Yeah, but anyways, so when it comes to all of that, a part of me is surprised Jude Law hasn't been in Star Wars before. Another part of me is like Jude Law has a big Harry Potter movie coming out this week, and it seems like you could get a lot of traction for a story by connecting those two things. Whether not saying that the outlet faked it, I don't care if they did or they didn't. I'm just saying like something like that would be the kindling that would make a little internet fire, if you will. And so there we have it. But I bet you even if this isn't true, next 10 years we get Jude Law in Star Wars for sure. Anyways,
I shot the Law first.
Yeah,
and the Law won, right?
Wasn't Jude Law Sky Captain, or was he the World of Tomorrow?
That's the same thing. Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow.
No, it's two different people. It's two different people.
Oh, you mean really?
Yeah. No, I'm just joking. But
it's the same movie.
Yeah, I know.
One long.
But who was he? Was he Sky Captain or the World of Tomorrow? It's a question we've been asking since the early 2000s.
He was almost that was Caviezel who was almost Superman, right?
Yeah.
Sky Guy.
Sky Guy.
Mm-hmm.
Look, he's Obi-Wan-ish, that dude. I'm telling you.
So, Bespin Bulletin. he's really laid down the Epic Games teasing Star Wars content for Fortnite. I like this write up he did here. You know, every now and then, Bestman Bulletin, he gets all fancy, starts talking in his fancy British words, and I don't know what he's talking about. But
Fancy
in this one,
schmancy.
he was speaking my language. But I saw in the chat, someone was like, I have no idea what this means. Can you please explain it? It was Ronnie. It was old Ronnie, the limo driver.
I
Jason,
don't understand the games.
Can I read it sexy?
Yeah, you can be Ronnie.
Jason, what is this? Please explain in Fortnite terms.
All right, so here's what it is. So Fortnite.
Slut.
Fortnite. What it is it's a free game that it's a battle royale mode of a flying bus full of children and me flies over a map, and then you jump out. You have no guns. You got to land on the ground, pick up your weapons, and then murder each other. And Fortnite has been really good about getting licenses. It's sort of its own metaverse, if you will. It has an ongoing story, but it's free to play. And every single there's like a season, which is usually around, I don't know, 2 to 3 months, I guess. And the seasons have a theme and a story. And in this instance right here, like in the past, I should say not in this, in the past, there was like a whole Marvel story where Marvel superheroes came into the Fortnite world through some interdimensional rift thing. And then you had to fight alongside the heroes, and you could unlock Thor and all of those, and Captain America and all, or you could buy them. And then you had to fight the bad guys. Like, I don't, like Galactus or some shit was there. I think I fought him. I think it was Galactus. But anyway,
I'm about fighting guys. I'm about fighting goyles.
About fighting guys, fighting goyles, reading comic books, reading newspapers. So Fortnite may be having a season, a Star Wars season, and these are right here in the featured image. You can see they put the Mando in as not as in one season as just an unlockable character, and he started off with his first armor, but as you did quest in the game, it would be like, kill 15 people, pick 15 of these berries, get first place 5 times, whatever it happened to be. You would do these different challenges. You would unlock pieces of Beskar that you could then equip to the character. So like you could get, and then you could unlock, when you got level 100, I think you unlocked the Grogu in his little pram or whatever you call it that floats behind you. I love it, but it actually gets in the way, so I stopped using it. And then
last time I was at E3 was 2019. Were you there for that one?
I think 2019. I went to 2018.
They had that giant Smash Brothers setup in the back with Nintendo. You'll remember it was like all Smash Brothers. Like,
yeah, I think I
only bring it up.
I don't know if
because in the south end or whatever, there was an epic setup, and they had the giant bus in there. Like they brought in a giant bus with balloons over the Fortnite area. It was right next to the Resident Evil 2 remake booth, and the Capcom was doing this fighting thing with the guys from was it WWF versus AEW, and they were throwing pancakes and people and shit. It was hilarious. But yeah, they brought the bus in with the balloons. It's crazy.
Yeah. Right now you could drive the bus. It's pretty fun. So anyways, here's the news from Bestman Bulletin. During an unofficial Unreal Engine live stream, the state of Unreal, Epic Games developed the Unreal Engine. Eagle-eyed fans spotted Fortnite files for possible upcoming content, more specifically skins. The files reference to Family Guy, Doom, Fortnite original characters, and most importantly, Darth Vader. The file read C3S3 Vader, which fans have worked out to translate to Chapter 3, Season 3. Fortnite is currently in its 3rd chapter and 2nd season. So like a year is like a chapter, basically, is how it works now, I think. And then the seasons are for that year. My son, by the way, I'll be like, hey, what was that one character? He's like, oh, you're thinking of season 1, chapter 4. Like, he just like knows it. It's like wild, those little kids' brains. Anyways, Fortnite is currently in its 3rd chapter, 2nd season, and the 3rd season will start to launch in June. Most likely June 4th, as the current season is scheduled to end on June 3rd. Yeah, usually it ends the game goes down for a night, kids have to go play outside, realize that sucks, and they're ready for the next season of Fortnite. Hours later, the chief creative officer of Fortnite, Donald Mustard, that's a rad name, I gotta say, like Donald Mustard, posted the image below of C-3PO and Chewbacca to his Twitter and Instagram accounts with with both having different captions. The Instagram caption read, "That's no moon," a quote from Obi-Wan Kenobi in Star Wars: A New Hope. Whilst, look at it, like he said, whilst, because he's fancy. That's
how I do it.
So fancy. Whilst
How I do it.
his Twitter post captioned the image, "So many secrets here."
Yeah, and in the UK, Jason, it's called the Journal of the Whilst.
Oh,
Actually, yeah,
Oh.
it's really fucking annoying.
Is that a Space
I tried to
Invader?
Fight that. Yeah.
Little Space
Yeah.
Invader up there.
Is that what they look like?
Also, this
I'm
this
sorry.
naming convention is something Kurt used to do with his porn. It's not good. It's not good.
Porn
to have
wasn't
files named
invented
like this.
then.
Max,
In the
were you
90s? What?
were you asking what the Fortnite characters look like?
Yes.
They look like this. These are
Like
three
that.
skins that I have in Fortnite right now, actually.
Okay.
And then they have backpacks that you can unlock, and like Grogu is a backpack, but he just floats beside you. They're called back bling. I feel stupid when I say it. Colonel Mustard has seemingly been teasing Star Wars content since November, when he shared videos of himself with the Darth Vader figure behind him. At the time, though, not much of. Wait, I don't have my glasses on. I'm so stupid. At the time, people thought not much of this, but since then, he's gone on to post images of AT-ATs, a video of R2-D2, and clouds shaped like Star Destroyers, which ultimately led to the more recent and obvious teases. Mustard.
No lamb head though, huh?
No lamb
No
head.
lamb head teases.
No lamb head at all. Mustard's "so many secrets here" message lends itself to the idea that perhaps we're getting many Star Wars skins or Star Wars content, leading fans to speculate if the third season will have heavy ties to Star Wars or be Star Wars themed. It's not as if Fortnite hasn't done this sort of thing before, as they previously had Marvel heavy seasons in 2020 dubbed Nexus War, which pitted Marvel heroes against the villain Galactus. So it was Galactus. The season Battle Pass featured 8 Marvel skins and more were put into the store during that time. And ever since that season, there's been a steady slew of Marvel characters added to the Fortnite item shop. The timing of a possible Star Wars season fits, given the Obi-Wan Kenobi premieres on May 27th. And it's also possible that Andor could release during the duration of the Fortnite season. Mustard did reference Kenobi in his Instagram post, and livestream viewers did spot a file relating to the series' big bad Darth Vader. Fortnite has previously collaborated with Lucasfilm during The Rise of Skywalker, when skins for Rey Skywalker, Finn, Kylo Ren, Sith Troopers, and Zori Bliss were released alongside with an event where Emperor Palpatine's message referenced in the film could be heard in Fortnite. Yeah, that was hilarious, you guys, by the way. You know, Palpatine's message that they talk about in The Rise of Skywalker, you could only hear that in Fortnite. It was in the movie, and then they took it out, and the only place you could ever hear it was in Fortnite.
Yeah, I thought that was marketing. But no, it's lore. It's fucking.
No, it's not lore. It's JJ being a complete coward in his final edits and taking everything out and panicking, and that was one of the casualties of that. But it's still funny that the only place you could hear that very important part of the film was not in the film, but in a video game. Since then, skins for Din. Okay, he says the D. I heard him say the fucking D, you guys, when he says his own name. So Din Djarin, Stormtroopers, Boba Fett, Fennec Shand, and Black Krrsantan have been released. Last year, fans were disappointed when Fortnite did not bring back the Star Wars skins in celebration of May the 4th, despite data miners finding Star Wars references in the files on the lead up to the date. I wondered about that, because those were in the files. And years ago, there was like a lightsaber event. It might have been at that Palpatine one. You could like pick up lightsabers and use them, and but they removed them after the event. If a Star Wars season or content is coming, then we likely won't know for quite some time. Perhaps an announcement around or during Star Wars Celebration, but let's not get our hopes up just yet. I gotta say, personally, I don't think they would do that. I would love if they did say, "Hey, there's Fortnite stuff coming in Star Wars stuff coming in Fortnite. Everybody look out for it," or whatever. Like that would be rad. But the Fortnite games usually tend to have like a story ramp up. Like sometimes at the end of the season, there will be a big event that you can play, and as you're playing through the event, it's like a big story thing will happen. So like all this stuff will happen. The island that you land on gets like all messed up, and then somebody will go and find like the burned up helmet of Darth Vader. You see what I'm saying? So like they would literally they would be spoiling where it's going and in some way if they did that. So I'm not sure if they would do that, but I also don't follow the gaming spoiler stuff enough to know if that's how this works out, But
Yeah, and I just don't care.
you don't. I mean, it's ultimately super important, believe it or not.
Yeah, look, I mean, look, if it's your game, I'm glad they're supporting it. You know what I mean?
But like, you know what? You know why it's important though, is because it's going to get hundreds of thousands of new little cult members into Star Wars. It's going to bring in my name on Fortnite is Making Star Wars because it's just why I originally made it, and or my Xbox name or whatever, and all these kids always end up discovering things through Fortnite, things like Terminator and Predator, and like they had like a whole season storyline with the Predator, and there was this like one like caged off area, and you could hear him like he was like invisible. You'd hear him clicking, and you have to like go hunt him and stuff. It was pretty rad. It's a pretty good time. But my kids never would watch Predator, and they wouldn't watch Terminator. And when the skins came out, they wanted to watch both of those movies. And so it's like still waiting for like RoboCop. I have a Xenomorph, the alien. All that stuff. It just like it introduces classic things to a whole bunch of children who never watched anything having to do with Star Wars or don't know about it or just know of it like in their periphery, And so that's why I think it's ultimately is a good thing for Star Wars itself. Daryl says, "I'm gonna play some Fortnite later this evening." Yeah, there's pickaxes, which is like what you like break down trees and you hit things in order to build like things to like get up on places and stuff and build cover and stuff like that. And my kids have a fork and a knife pickaxe and they just think it's hilarious. But I barely get it. But hey, good evening, Meg. It's only 11:30 here, but good evening. Hey, it's Santa. Oh, I can't hang out today, but leaving a like and comment and letting it play while I'm AFK. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. And to anybody else who does that, and to anybody else who is a channel member, like my old buddy Star Wars Santa Claus. So, has anybody ever called him Star Wars Santa Claus?
Tell Rob he could get some Rand doubler for only $79.99 at StarWarsSanta.rom.
It's true. All right, Ronnie, we did it. I explained the Fortnite terms.
I heard forks and knives.
Yeah. No, it's probably sounds like there's a lot of smoke there, so I'm hoping there's fire. How's it going, Mr. Baymax? How are you? Darth Maximus, Will Morgan, Peter Griffin. Wasn't the Peter Griffin Fortnite skin leaked as well? I saw that a while ago. I feel like I wonder if it was fake, but now it's actually happening. But Yeah, I also me and my son have Rick and Morty. It's pretty fun to play with Rick and Morty.
Tell them about the Szechuan sauce.
Oh, I had it last night. Yeah. Right now on the McDonald's app, if you order on it, you can add that sauce to anything you want. It's like a thing.
Like, if I was Dan Harmon and I knew there was something so disgusting that I hated it so much, I would make a whole episode telling everyone how great it is just to fucking troll them into eating it too. I really believe.
The only thing I liked about it was it's way less calories than the other sauces. That's like the only advantage to the whole thing.
If you're looking low calorie, don't eat McDonald's. Though. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, you could if you don't go like Big Mac and shit like that, you could do if you do like a diet soda and a 6-piece nugget, you could get out of there for like 300 calories.
If you do want some low carby barbecue sauce, sorry. If you do want some low carb barbecue sauce, Stubbs barbecue sauce, pretty good. I do make my own, but Stubbs is really good.
I saw my mom humped by a one-legged man. You think I'm gonna eat a barbecue sauce called Stubbs?
Of course.
Yes.
No. Why not?
Yeah. What was that, Max?
No, I actually had a friend who was always dieting, and we would go out to the clubs, and then after we would go to Jack in the Box, and he'd do all this food, and then with the Diet Coke. Are you fucking serious?
You know what? I know where you're coming from, Max, but I gotta say that Coke's probably another meal. You know what I mean? That's when you like that big giant soda. So I kind of get where they're coming from, but yeah, at the same time, I remember there was a
it's a crazy frame for her to be stuck on.
Max, I think it killed Max. I think that's one night me, Max, and Johnny were hanging out, and some drinks were had, and Max just fell asleep like that, just sitting straight up, and we're just like, what do we do?
Hey Jason, are you wondering, does Restream drop frames? Yes. Yes it does.
Yeah, last night a couple of you jumped on, and I appreciated it, but I tried to stream Fortnite Lego Star Wars. I was like, you know what? I was like, maybe I'll do a stream where I just play Lego Star Wars and talk about Phantom Menace for like 3 hours. I'll just do the Phantom Menace chapter, talk about Phantom Menace while we do it. It'll be a good time. And it was just choppy the whole time. And I have a Mac and an Xbox One, and I can't seem to get it to go using StreamYard without there being all of these crazy frame drops. And
what
so
you
I'm not
need
sure it's worth it.
Is an Xbox 3000. So you got the one, you get the 3000. It gives you 3000.
True.
Good job, Ronnie.
True.
Smart.
Yeah. What I need is for this channel to take off so I could get a PC. that's what I need.
Like me, like mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Max, are you giving me the cold shoulder right now? Max, why are you so stuck? Oh, you're back. It was funny. You were kind of like locked up again in the spot, and I was like, I was going to get into a bit.
Maybe if Max turned down her resolution,
I don't know. Sometimes Max
it would stream a little faster. You could set it to like a 480, and
yeah. Or maybe Max is just praying for us. Did you ever think about that?
I hope not. That shit don't work. Did that end World War II? No.
I don't know. I saw a lady on the bus.
Did praying end Vietnam? No.
I mean, I'm just gonna say it did end. How do you know? How do you know it wasn't the prayers? Huh? How do you know?
Look, if that takes that long, it's not worth trying. Like, I'm just saying.
I gotta say, I think Max may be like the patron saint of the internet. Look at the, like, if we just take that picture right there, put her on some candles, start selling those candles at the grocery store. Yeah, little patron saint of internet streaming. We lost her. But Yeah.
Surprisingly, she gets better reception in her car.
Mhm.
She called into the show.
Yeah. Let's not talk about that today. She's having some car problems today. Come on.
Oh, I was just saying. I forgot about it. My bad. I'm sorry.
It was hit by a vandal. A vandal, I say. Um. Okay, I'm trying to catch up to the old chat here, but yeah. Meg says, as someone who's always struggled with food, calories are exhausting. Yeah, they really are. I mean, that's why like that's why I don't drink any drinks with calories in them though. Oh wait, hi Max.
Hi, I'm on my phone. This fucking internet connection at my house sucks ass.
Yeah, it happens. It's okay.
Sorry.
But so, anyways, what I was gonna say was that it turns out like if every time I drank a soda, I did not drink. I like Coke Zero. I think Diet Coke actually tastes like asshole, but Coke Zero is pretty tolerable. Diet Dr Pepper, it's pretty good to me. But basically, like it like basically cuts out like a meal's worth of calories like a day if I was to just drink soda. So I get where they're coming from, but I do see like the irony in it. Like I was talking about, there was this time when the McRib was back, and we went down, and I was picking up one for a friend and myself, and so I ordered 2 McRibs and 2 Diet Dr Peppers, and I felt like I was judged. They're like, "Oh, you're getting McRib, but you're drinking. Do you think this is gonna offset it, you fat fuck?" And I was like, "Fuck you! You work at McDonald's." No, just kidding.
They worship a clown, man.
Dude, I have my McDonald's is punk rock McDonald's, dude. There's no customer service whatsoever. But like, whenever I've sat in there and I've seen like people like get real, Karen style on them, like thinking it's they're at fucking, I don't know. They probably, I'm just going to jokingly say Sizzler, but it's like you're at your fucking McDonald's. Like, what do you expect, And so I kind of get like where the attitude comes from. So I kind of appreciate McDonald's sass. I think it's a form of resistance.
Who's the bigger fool, Jason? Those who sling McRibs or those who eat them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
slinging McRibs all day. Like pork balls. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Anthony says, "Hey, Jason, Rob, and Max, everyone working while listening. I got to ask, might be off topic, but is it true Rosario has been cast as Ahsoka in Andor? Or is what I've heard just Bantha Poodoo? What do you guys think?" I have to cough.
Oh, they're going to recast her for Andor. It's going to be someone else. Yeah, it's going to be Jason Mewes. It's going to fill in.
Yeah. Well, there's also a rumor going around that Kenobi's in Andor.
I heard that.
But I don't know what to think about it. I don't know if I buy it or not. Who was the really beautiful co-star of Andor? I can't remember her name. Adria Adjorna, I think is her name. Is that what it was?
Adria, yeah. I forgot her last name.
Adria. Anyways, she did this interview, and in that interview she talked about like, wow, there's some surprises. It's been really hard to not talk about some of the things I saw on set that day. Got to be honest with you though, I could be wrong, but most 30-year-old women that I meet don't know what an Ahsoka is, generally speaking. And so the idea that it was her working with Rosario Dawson, which seems to go hand in hand with that rumor popping up, makes me go, it's unlikely. But it's totally. But also, Cassian is Fulcrum, and Ahsoka becomes Fulcrum. So there is the possibility of that. But I also feel like if we had Rosario Dawson in the UK during the pandemic filming Cassian, it seems like that there would be some very hard evidence of that. Like, right. Very, very hard. And there was a photo that was going around this week of I believe to be a Star Wars fan film and it had Ahsoka with Maul in it.
Yeah, I saw that.
So I'm not buying any of it.
I'm not either.
Yeah.
And you know why?
Boba Fett.
No, because I saw Star Wars Meg's show and she talked about that. She pointed out some things, and I was like, you know what? You're right.
What did she point out? Do you recall?
Yeah, she was talking about the standard, the cameras that they were using, that they weren't.
Oh, in the photo, in that
yeah.
photo. Oh, without a doubt,
Yeah.
without a doubt. Yeah, that looked like some DSLRs with a bunch of extensions and nice lenses and stuff like that. That's what it looked like just at a glance. But it's not the camera that they actually filmed Mando with is monstrous compared to that thing. So
yeah,
God, I remember a few years ago somebody stole the camera from the Mando set, and all the Phantom Menace guys started making videos, and like their inner talking points amongst their like clique was that they should be investigating me, that it was probably me. I was probably
seriously.
Yeah, I'm like I'm like Han Solo. I want to be an outlaw. You're making me like I love that. Like please tell everybody I stole it.
What assholes!
It's so dumb. It's so dumb and petty.
It's so annoying. It's so annoying when people like make up shit, and when you know it's bullshit. It's just so fucking annoying that it's exasperating. It's just annoying.
Yeah, but at the same time, they get to talk. Those people get to talk bullshit for the rest of their lives. So that's all that they'll ever do, and that's what they did with it. Yeah, and so, how's it going? Even Shevens, Sheev the Wise, and subscribe to Sheev's show. It's really good. I'm a fan. I like it. Thank you, Meg. Adria Adjorna. Yeah. She is probably, if you look at the enormity of what was filmed, probably in the beginning of the series a lot, and then it sounds like she drops off but then comes back. But so if you take it as everything is filmed in order, then it's like okay, there's always a chance that she came back because of reshoots too. But it's one of the things I kind of put together, I think.
Not reshoots, it's doomed.
Yeah. That's like another thing, just as our Star Wars PSA of the day. Reshoots have always been a part of Star Wars, so much so that they were still reshooting it in 1996, but the original one. But yeah, reshoots have always been a planned thing, and they make it sound like it's more like something else. So
like it's a problem. Like they're trying to, like it's ruined or something.
Yeah, like they fucked it up. So they didn't know what they were doing because they're real dumb assholes. Now they had to go refilm it, reshoots. Dummy, should have got it right the first time. And it's like, usually it's just to make it better, to add a layer of polish.
Right.
Or like George Lucas, his way of doing it was set up, film real quick, get the fuck out, continue on, then see what you can do with it at that price point, and then the reshoots would address the things that they just could not stand without having an extra layer.
All right.
So Star Wars Mig says, could she just be a hologram?
We saved $10 million on a $200 million budget that way. It was really good. It's really worth it.
That actually is really good, Rob. That actually is really good. Star Wars Meg says, could she just be a hologram at the end, like in Rebels? I mean, I guess. I mean, but that's like I'm of the mindset that usually I will not go with. I don't take the hologram thing into account, because what the hologram does, it lets you say Tupac's alive. Tupac's not alive. Tupac got killed, and but people at Coachella think he's alive, but he's dead. No, but like whenever we go down that road, it just allows us just to continue. Like I'm like, Palpatine is not in Kenobi, but the concept art shows a hologram. So couldn't he just be the hologram? No. I mean, it just he does speak, but they do speak via hologram to Darth Vader. That does happen, but it's the Inquisitors. And so we just kind of end up chasing our tails. So that's just why I personally just go, nope, nobody could be a hologram. Kenobi,
I'm a hologram. No, I'm a
Gem.
Force Ghost. Shit. Sorry.
Gem and the Holograms, great band. Great band.
Jizz and the holograms are good too.
Steve
Max,
says
that's an actual band in Star Wars. That's true.
Make it
It is.
4 with Clone Wars flashback does. God, yeah. Yeah, that's the Cassian Andor thing. I gotta say, I think that I don't know, like Rogue One, look at how Rogue One handled the cameos. It was like no nonsense. Then they would just like cheaply throw them in to like placate people. Like, here's Ponda Baba and TV's America's favorite dad, Dr. Evison, you know, and they like come through. And so it's like, so I feel like in that instance, what the Star Wars people were dealing with was, this is very heavy. It's very serious. It needs to be a little bit more fun all of a sudden. How do we do it? And then they would throw in like some bullshit. Here comes TV's Chopper. Chopper, come on down. And Chopper rolls by, you know. I would say actually the Chopper one was done with class. He's just in the background. A droid was going to be there. They made it a character people would know. So it's like, if you didn't know, it didn't take away. But the Dr. Evazan thing, that has not aged well. I got to say, I honestly see the Dr. Evazan moment as a blemish in that film now. At the time, as a fan, I was like, hey, it's those guys in there doing the thing. You know, it's like it's like that's the trick is delighting someone in the moment, but also with the longevity of the piece. And that's where
that's your blemish, Jason. I mean, you know, I hate to show you what JJ put together.
Well, JJ didn't make Rogue One. I said in Rogue One.
That's what I'm saying. If that's your blemish, I got 2 other films full of way worse than that shit.
Well, no, but I'm saying like Rogue One by itself is super is actually very breakneck in its location from here to here, but it actually, like, if you just analyze it, it is actually really tight and doesn't fuck around too much. Like everything that kind of needs to be there, but then that moment, it's just like, it's just stupid. You know what I mean? Ultimately. And then JJ, to go back to what I was saying,
I don't even remember it too well, and I've seen the movie 100 times. It doesn't really affect me that way. Like, this is the first I've ever heard of it being considered a blemish.
Oh, like, yeah. No, well, when you watch Rogue One again, watch what's happening, and then watch what it breaks, the momentum that it steals from for you know, us to go, I know Star Wars, you know, that's like kind of like the problem. Like it honestly would have been a hell of a lot funnier and even made a little bit more sense if they were like with the partisans in Saw Gerrera's weird place, and that happened there, and then they got, you know what I mean, and then they just ran out with, there was a way of doing it if you wanted to do it. I just don't think they need, but to go back to what I was saying, and to hit on your point, Rob, is Force Awakens is a good example of something that delights. That was his actual goal, was to delight you, and it is a delightful film. But then in retrospect, that begins to have diminishing returns, as you see with the follow-up that he did, in particular, did with it. You know, whatever intrigue was left. So like that's that. I think JJ. I don't know if the same people, you know, corporations, the same people don't stick around for too long usually. The turnover rate is really big. And like most, and Lucasfilm does have some people who are still there. I'm not saying that. And Kathleen Kennedy is obviously still there, regardless of what the internet tells you. And but that's the whole thing is, did they learn that like lesson? Like how they learned how to delight you in a way that makes the piece hold up over time. Like,
man, I just want a story. Like this is something that I literally just could care. If it's there, great. If it's not hurt. The problem is when you're like, what is this even thing about? Why are we doing this? What's the point? You know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm more concerned with them issues right now than this sort of thing. This is not even in my top 10 Maybe not even my top 20.
Right.
So for me.
Well, okay, but once again, I'm talking about within the context of Rogue One, not of Star Wars. If it's about in Star Wars, it doesn't even. But in Rogue One, like, does Rogue One have a blemish for you?
No.
No.
I'm a real easy guy to please. So if you screw up, you done screwed up pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that's like I don't really have the only complaint I have with The Force Awakens as a film would be like the Phasma scene where she's just telling them shit. I'm like, there's no fucking way a person of that rank is gonna go up and tell them all the shit they need, and then it's the stupidest fucking thing ever. It just that is a blemish. You know, you're like, that doesn't even make sense for that character. This character's out there helping slaughter humans and all this stuff, and then right at the end, she's like, "Oh, here's how you might kill me. I'm gonna give up all the info to help you to stop our entire plan." That's a fucking problem.
Mm-hmm.
Putting characters in the background, I don't give a shit. Like, I really don't. You know?
Yeah, but it goes into that, like, it's weird to me in some ways, because it's like when the special editions happened, I thought it actually gave the Tatooine stuff. I thought gave the environment and the world. It made the world a little bit more dynamic. It gave a little bit more spectacle to Mos Eisley, for instance, and I was fine with it. I liked it, but
yeah, I'd agree,
because it's like Luke going into this threshold of this new place.
Even the Bespin shots I thought were good on Empire.
Exactly. Yeah.
Bespin stuff,
yeah, the Bespin stuff is like really good, actually. I love that stuff. And but you would hear like a lot of critiquing of it, like, oh, it's like, oh, look at this, and like I'm not paying attention to the right thing. And it's like, but in that moment in Rogue One, it's like it's kind of funny. I mean, the only way it kind of is able to last, or it's able to like succeed, I guess, is that it's like they run into those guys, and it could have just been anybody and they could have still done it, but it's those guys. I
have randomly run into people that I knew in other countries.
Mm-hmm.
So like, this is just, it's just not a problem for me, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, yeah,
I'm not trying to convince anybody I'm not trying to ruin it for anybody, but it's like Tyrant
blemish
says,
is a pretty harsh word.
Well, I mean, it's you have a beautiful face and you got this pimple on it, you know.
Blemish is like when you're like, hold on. Blemish is like when you add Luke screaming "No," right? Like after he willingly decides to. Yeah, that's a blemish.
Yeah, Thank God that's gone.
Thank God that's gone.
I thought that was like hilarious. Like when everybody was making their special edition gripes for years, I'm like, nobody was really talking about that, like in a really big way.
Oh, I was.
No, I was too. I was like, you guys just didn't want to pay attention to the last part of the middle of the whole thing, or because you guys already made up your gripes, thinking that you're the guys from Clerks, and then you're not following.
Were you on the Force.net at that time?
No, I was smarter than that.
Yeah, that was the only place I knew that talked about Star Wars other than AOL, and AOL was a shit.
Yeah, no, everybody was on the Force.net at some point. You know,
you were on the
Force.net. That's where I was
net?
complaining about it.
Yeah.
You were on the Force.net, Jason?
Since
Not
the day
really. I ended up I mean I was like there at times, but they were always a bit like, you know, you can't use bad words, you know. You can't use bad words, and you gotta, you know, and it was just like so I spent more time other places. Yeah.
If you can believe it, Jason.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, I never cursed.
Really?
This is before the Army. The Army changed my vocabulary in ways that even I didn't understand.
So what did you say when you were mad? Oh, phooey?
Huh?
Oh. So when you got pissed
sucks.
off, you would go,
that sucks. You know, that.
No, he would say, fudge.
He's all, oh, fiddlesticks.
I would just say it sucks. Yeah.
Tyrant says,
or crapola. I might use crapola if my parents weren't around. That might
crapola.
I got that one from Police Academy 6. Mr. Big, right? Yeah.
So
I'm a nerd. Let's be honest. Look at my picture.
Yeah, look at the computer. What a nerd.
Yeah.
That's definitely a Force.net era computer too.
Mm-hmm.
Jason, I thought your blemish for Rogue One was Saw's baby blue eyes being brown. Yeah, I still I'm able to look past it and just imagine that at some point he lost his eyes and got new ones. Like
Such a nitpick.
I would just think
You
that he wanted to get
no.
context.
It's like in Dune when they do spice and they get the blue eyes. Just what if that just didn't happen? Like that's
I don't know. I fell asleep.
Okay,
Turned it off.
But
I was bored.
What I'm saying, no, like for instance, in what's Obi-Wan Kenobi, the little girl who's playing Leia doesn't have the same eyes as Carrie Fisher. I truly don't give a fuck. If they maybe they'll correct it, maybe she has context. I don't know. I don't care. Like that's okay, different actor. So what? But when you are a dark-skinned person with blue eyes as the feature of your character's species on that planet, that's just a big why. At that point, why make it Saw Gerrera? If you don't want to go and make it Saw Gerrera, just don't make it Saw Gerrera. Just make him like.
Well, maybe he had a cosmetic change. You know,
that's what I say. So now I'm just like, okay, he took somebody's eyes to get past an imperial retinal scanner somewhere. That's what I had to do.
That actually did bother me though.
Yeah.
It took me out of it because I already knew what he looked like on Rebels or the Clone Wars, and I was just like, that did bother me.
Yeah, and then they didn't like offer like
an explanation.
Yeah, they didn't do like of all of the things that they could have. No, but I mean, well, think about it.
No, dude. It's just when you say that, Jason, I think of one of the most useless lines in The Force Awakens when 3PO goes, "But you're wondering about my red arm."
Yeah,
like, hey, but you're wondering why my eyes ain't blue, and then they cut him off and go do something else.
Yeah, I got a fucking 4-part comic series about like motherfucker's red arm. Sure. This guy doesn't have blue eyes anymore. That was like a feature of his planet and his people, and that's I think it was deserving, but it's definitely a gripe of mine that if you establish the look of something that you follow through with that, and I mean the odds are there are dark-skinned people with blue eyes. It does happen. But but in the way that Star Wars did it in the Clone Wars was these are what Andoranians look like or something like that, right? That was kind of like was that sort of maybe I'm misspeaking here, but that's what I think was the implication. So Eric says it all stems from the sequel trilogy lacking at least a bit of a plan. I'm gonna say I know your point, but there was a bit of a plan. The whole time there was a bit of a plan. That was the problem, is there was too many bits of the plan. And then when JJ didn't want to do the whole thing, and then Rian Johnson took over and he was like, yeah, dude, do your story. He endorsed the story. They were at Lucasfilm at the same time as it was happening. It's just at the last minute where it ended up being actually was going to require some real creativity from JJ in a short amount of time. So there was a plan. I just don't think that JJ could commit to anything, and then we ended up in a weird place. Star Wars says we need a writer cameo in Star Wars or Andor. Was Ryder the politician who was like evil, who's a traitor? I'm trying to remember.
I don't know the character.
Yeah,
I would just like to, before we forget, or I forget, I would just like to give Rogue One some props in that whole Saw Gerrera scene, that whole bunker they're in is more Jabba's palace than the entirety of Boba Fett. Like that whole thing was that when they bring out the Borgullet, I'm like, this is the Return of the Jedi monster vibe. This is how you do that Return of the Jedi monster thing in HD in a new like that. I know some people that took him out, but I'm like, that is very Lucas monstery. Like if Lucas kind of went more adult and less kiddie, that's what the Sarlacc pit could have been. You know what I mean? Like that sort of thing. So yeah, I like how weren't they playing like analog space chess in the that place too? Because they're they don't got the money for that shit. It's pretty good. I like that.
Yeah.
And for the record, like I love, I mean, the eye thing. I love Saw Gerrera is one of my. I don't think Bespin Bulletin's a fan. I can't remember, but I'm a big fan of Saw Gerrera. I think it's interesting that you have this character who is just during the Clone Wars trying to save his planet. The Republic can't intervene because of they're not a part of the Republic or something, and then Ahsoka, Obi-Wan, and Anakin teach them how to become a resistance force and how to fight droidekas, how to blow them up, and then they end up taking and liberating their planet on their own. It's like what we do in the real world all the time, for better or worse. And then, but then at the end, what do you end up having? You have this militarized fucking force, and in that story, his sister is like the moral compass of the whole movement. She dies, and then Saw Gerrera, everybody looks to him now, but he was never really the true leader. It was his sister, and then now he's into a place where eventually just endless war turns him into this monster. He becomes, in the coolest of ways, he's sort of like the rebel version of Darth Vader. He loses his humanity over time, as it's going. Double disco cutie. Double.
I'm logging off. I'm turning off my phone.
Hootie tootie disco cutie. Hootie. I was gonna do that all day, but okay. Anyways, yeah. So I kind of like that we see that theme and those ideas are happening to people beyond just Darth Vader, and I like the idea that Rogue One.
Also, Jason, in Star Wars, when they make a greasy dog, they like to make it Piet.
Yes. I appreciate that joke.
Been waiting weeks to tell that joke. I just forget about it.
Yeah.
Keep forgetting.
I got my ex-girlfriend wrote me an email the other day, and I wrote her back, and I asked, "Have you seen The Greasy Strangler?" Yeah. Rob, Jason Muse, and Ahsoka totally works on it. Yeah. Sheev, writer in Andor would be cool, Santa. So am I misremembering? But wasn't writer the politician who was in charge of Lothal, who's actually like a secret? Yeah, is a traitor, his little bitch. Sheev the Wise, just another reason I don't like Saw. Blue eyes, green eyes, then brown eyes. What is happening? So, I guess Andoranians just changed. Uh-oh. We lost her. Damn it. Just become one with the Force again. Tyrant says the issue with The Rise of Skywalker isn't the box riddle being gone. It's just not well designed from story concept to costumes to how it was shot, cinematography, especially compared to The Last Jedi, Rogue One, or even The Force Awakens. Yeah, I agree with you.
100%.
It was that like time crunch. I mean, a part of me wonders if JJ took the movie based on the time crunch being the challenge. Can I do what I did in a time crunch? Like, was that because it doesn't seem like he went back into that project being challenged about making us the final Star Wars story.
He couldn't take the challenge of just writing a story that actually fucking mattered. You know what I mean? Like, let me ignore that one and let me take this time crunch challenge.
But I mean, yeah, that's what I mean. That sounds stupid, but I wonder if that's what it was sometimes. And he delivered the movie. He did what the studio wanted. He did it at the time that they wanted, and so it did happen. And I guess on one hand, it is, but I would, and then the pandemic did happen. So in a weird way, in terms of the studio, they're probably like, "Oh, thank God, we got that in right under the line there." On the other,
could have made $2 billion if they had held off and actually made a good movie and been the first big movie to come back after. Look at Spider-Man.
Well,
like, it's serious. Had they done that movie right, they'd been way more than what they would have made. Yeah, no, don't shake your head.
Rob,
people would have been.
No. I'm not saying that, Rob. I'm saying there was no fucking way the world or Disney or the fan base could have waited until Spider-Man came out for that to have been Star Wars. But they would have went crazy. But I know what you mean. At the end of the day, we agree though, because they shouldn't have released the movie when they did. It wasn't ready. he wasn't done with that movie. That movie feels unfinished. And the original version of it, when I say the original version, the version that was released was the JJ cut. I I know people want to come up with like a fancy reason as to why the movie just doesn't work that well. They want there to be a better explanation for why it is not the movie it could have been. And at the end of the day, it's not because the studio took the movie from J.J. Abrams or anything like that.
The movie, people are saying they took the movie from him.
They're trying to make it seem like there's a JJ cut, and I don't know who the other cut is supposed to be.
These Snyder fans, like I love that Justice League that they put out on HBO Max. I really do. It's the most like it's like getting a '90s kind of like comic book film with a big modern day budget. The Snyder cut, but there's not. It is rare for a studio to take a film from a director. There's all sorts of fucking things that can get them into trouble. So like, I know when they go, but what happens when they remove? I think Solo's the one that like they think they're doing that all the time now. Like, the relationship Kathleen Kennedy has with JJ is not the relationship they had with Lord Miller. It's not anywhere or Gareth Evans or I mean. She has a pretty long-standing relationship with J.J. Abrams. That is his edit, 100%.
Well, yeah, I mean that was the thing is like I had always have had pretty well placed sources on this stuff whenever I seek them out and they're willing to talk, and so like I knew what the state of the film was and I knew what was changing as it was changing and why, or usually why. At least what they thought internally as to why, and it really did appear like he was getting really afraid that he was saying too much constantly. I'm saying too much, and so he rolled everything back, and it's end up with that movie.
It is so weird, man. Like saying it's so weird. Like, I mean, I get when it happens to actors. Like, there's a story going around yesterday about Ezra Miller having issues on set during The Flash 2. And there was one where he was like, he didn't know where he was in a scene. And people were like trying to say he lost his mind. I'm like, that is really common for actors. My cousin was an actress, like that is normal. Like because you don't, as an actor, you don't know what scene they're not shooting in chronological order. You don't know what happened before or after. If the director or the script girl, if someone can't fucking like explain it to you on set, if you're not there, I can get that. But when a director can't make a decision or feels like I'm doing too much or too little, that's a whole fucking issue. Like that is your whole job is to know that. Like, that is so weird.
Yeah, I mean, and the movie basically just the problems come from the revelations, just not really feeling like they connected or mattered, and at the end of the day, who was it? Did I lose it? Oh, it's right here. Junkbox says, of all the things to care about, the color of a character's pale eyes in comparison to how okay, but that's in once again, I said in context of Rogue One, like what happens in Rogue One isn't a blemish in the fucking Force Awakens for me, but I will entertain where you're going with this. Of all the things to care about, how Maz got Anakin's lightsaber back. That's a good question for another time. Yeah, that one right there is something that I don't think should have even have been in the movie at that point. Because and that's another one of those weird things that he just like left in the movie because it was part of the older edit, and they just didn't make another explanation for it. I don't know why. I think they just wanted the nostalgia of the lightsaber at that point. And we're like, let's just keep it in. But it was better when Luke's lightsaber falling on down into the savannah was what started all of this stuff.
If they had opened up the Rise of Skywalker, Jason, with the Battle of Jakku as a flashback, right? and you see Rey's parents, and they're and that whole battle's going down, and that way you get Luke. You could do the Luke Leia, Han Solo in a scene with some CGI or some shit, some trickery, right? You could shove all that in there that way, because that's where they would have been. And then they end that whole thing on like, whatever you do, like, don't let her near a lightsaber kind of shit, right? Like, she'll never be a Jedi. And then it cuts to her training with Leia to be a Jedi. You know what I mean? Like, that didn't work out so fucking well. Then you'd be like, oh, why? There'd be a reason. There's a dark side. Don't let her. Like, there'd be something there that would also show you something that helps Force Awakens give you more context. You know what I mean? Gives you when you never see their parents, man, like you never see them, and you make the whole thing about her fucking parents, it's not a good call, bro. It's not a good call. It's like Luke Skywalker never seen his parents, his father, ever. Like, not one of them, never. Why would you care?
Yeah. Yeah.
Real problem.
No, it definitely is. Like the lightsaber originally fell down into a savanna planet that was Jakku. Jakku was going to have a lot of water originally. One of the reasons when they ended up moving, when they agreed to go to Abu Dhabi instead of Jordan for episode 7, there was actually like a man-made lake like near them that they could have made canals to get water and to use water, but they ended up not doing any of that. And they pulled away from it. But it was a much more interesting planet than what Jakku became.
Is that the treasure planet, the pirate planet, or whatever?
No, it was just
that was Maz Kanata's thing, right?
It was just like a real swampy kind of like not a swamp, but like a desert, a savanna planet, basically, just like marshy, and
right,
and then all of the crash stuff was in there, and it was neat, and they but then in the end they went for Tatooine 2.0, which is really strange. At the time, I was kind of okay. I was okay with it, poetically. She's our new Luke Skywalker. Isn't it interesting how these two characters come from these backwater planets that are like nowhere, and then they're the two most important people in the galaxy, right? Kind of idea. I'm like, okay, I see where you're going with that. Okay, fine, I'll entertain that. But it's only when you take the totality of JJ's methodology that it begins to annoy me more. And I don't think he actually made completely like horrible movies. I don't think episode 7's horrible. I think it's like super competent, does the job. You know what I mean? It's like it's as ordered between the culture and the corporation. So I really can't knock the movie too hard for doing what it does. But it's when you get to episode 9 that I'm like, okay, JJ, like, no, now it's time to really pull out something dynamic and special. And you're right, dude, about the like Rey's parents. Like in a big way, the idea of it is way more fun than what they did in the movie. What you actually get, the idea that Palpatine was trying to clone himself to make like new bodies for himself, and it's essentially making children in the Jango Fett way. And but this one doesn't really have the Force, doesn't really connecting. It's a no go, but it actually makes it out, and then ends up giving birth to the next Luke Skywalker. It's a fascinating story. It's just not in the movie. It's just not really a part of the movie. And so it's and then they didn't have like a quick plan to like tell that story. It wasn't a Disney Plus series that filled it in, that made the world of the Rise of Skywalker better, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like there were
100%. I told them the only way to fix those films is to do that story that culminates with the Battle of Jakku. It's the only way. And you can't do that as a movie. You can't sucker people into the theaters for that one. That's a Disney Plus. Put the money into it. And I feel like they need to invest in that to fix those fucking films. If they're going to lean into the sequel trilogy for those theme parks, you know what I mean? They got to fix that. You know, like
because I mean the story of Rey's parents is like I still do care about it. Like if they did that in a really, really solid way, it may make me feel differently about that film and the emotional investment in it. Because believe it or not, I actually like don't hate the Indiana Jones-esque qualities. We should talk about Moon Knight for a bit too in a minute. But I like the idea that JJ was going for of like I don't know about the idea of doing a MacGuffin for the last film. Probably should have been what you did for 7 in some ways and had all of these characters on the path for it. But anyways, but that said, what we got is what we got. But we end up with this the Indiana Jones like style stuff, and I thought that stuff was like actually like fun. It's only not fun. It's like I don't know how to explain it. It's like miniature golf is fun, but if my parents told me they were taking me to Disneyland as a child and I was at golf and stuff, it would be not as fun. I'd be like, I'm
Which
not
is why
supposed
he
to
would
be
have
here.
been he would have been the better fit to fix Solo, and Ron Howard would have been the better fit to make Episode 9. Because there's that.
Right.
That is the flip. Is that I think Ron Howard would have come in there and gave us a complete film. That had that weighty. He likes to put a little drama. And Solo doesn't need any drama; it just needs fun. Sorry, yeah. He's the missed opportunity, even in the first in Episode 4, and in the Solo. Well, it couldn't be in the Solo one because Lando had the ship clean. But I was always like, you ever walk into like a guy's room that doesn't take care of it, and you're like, this fucking reeks. Like when Leia gets on the ship, I was always like, this should it smells like fucking bear farts and X, and like, right. Man, like Solo's not a guy who puts on deodorant, I imagine, so like, it's just, it's the closest.
I thought he smelled like Old Spice, but okay.
To be honest, like that's the thing that Spaceballs did so well is that Winnebago is a fucking trash heap,
yeah.
That is what 2 bachelors who are best buds, who are not growing up, that's what they live like, Yeah. And so like, I think JJ is primed for that kind of humor, like that kind of sensibility. It's when he tries to interject that with this like serious thing, he can't commit to serious. And so I always tell people, Super 8's the one example. He couldn't commit to what that alien looked like. Just he could not make a decision. Go look at all the concept art for that book and just watch him turn out the most generic looking, never have to make a decision kind of fucking design. It's not that far from what Snoke ended up looking like, like when you think about it.
Yeah.
It's like a bald, no identity, kind of got some texture, kind of something. It's not a decision.
Oh yeah, I wanted to bring this up before I forget, just because I wonder if this becomes, I don't know if they're paying enough attention at the moment for it to become something. Wait, I just tried to share it. Did it? One sec. Apologize. Huh. I guess it didn't. It didn't share the photos to me. Apologize for the. But there's this Lego Star Wars. There's this Lego Star Wars. I don't know what you want to call it. Opening scene or whatever. Oh, weird! It's doing that. What the fuck? All right. Well, anyways, I'll just talk about it. No photos. The opening screen of Lego Star Wars, Poe and Finn like have their like arm. Poe has like this like arm around him, around Finn, and they're very right. Very like I wouldn't say it's sexual in any way, but if you're like if 2 men putting their arms around each other makes you like really uncomfortable, you would definitely notice it. But it's funny in the context of when you compare it to Han and Chewie, because Finn and Poe are
watch Rocky 3
all over.
Wait till they watch Rocky 3 when Rocky and Carl Weathers hug half naked and wet and sandy on the beach.
Yeah,
in the air,
right?
Sure.
Yeah, but I took screenshots, but for some reason they won't go to my computer right now, so fuck it. But I'm wondering if that's like something on a slow news day next week, from those types. But anyways, let me see. I think I lost the chat here. Here we go. Gee, I dislike him because his character is written that way. He is a great character. Oh, talking about Ryder? Probably about Ryder. Max Maz Kanata Zandau says, I'm gonna stay off. Connection sucks today. All right. It's if it picks up and you want to jump back on, by all means come back. But wait, Tra sucks because of Tony Gilroy. I fucking knew it. Oh no, Tyrant. Tyrant has another reason to.
He has a great name for that attitude. You know.
Maybe Tony Gilroy should have stepped in and reshot Rise of Skywalker for them at the end. Maybe he should have done the reshoots. Maybe it's his fault.
He was probably exhausted from the last one.
He's lazy. Johannes, how's it going? Says, do you think they'll release Andor's trailer at Celebration only? God. It would not surprise me if they did that. I hope they aren't that dumb, because it will get out. I know they think it won't. It will. And everyone will see Andor for the first time, footage from it in a shitty fucking camera phone. You know? So if that's what they want, that's what they should do. But does it really make sense to start releasing Andor when Kenobi's just starting? It doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, I think it's a celebration only.
You think
if
it's
I had
a
to put
celebration
money
only?
on it, if I had to put a jumbo jack on this bet, God knows I'd never want to eat one again.
You sound fucking crazy to me right now, because jumbo jacks are good.
I put on 60 pounds in Jack in the Box ones. You gotta understand, my breakfast at 1997 was that Baconator they had there with the triple stack with the bacon and double triple cheese. Yeah. Really fucked myself up, Jason. It's not good.
But it was 60 pounds of pure American love. No, so anyways, Johannes, I'm hoping that they don't do that. Like I hope they don't do that. Like please don't do that. You know, give everybody the content. Like I really want to go to Celebration, but I also I don't want to get COVID. I don't want to go to. I don't want to get. They found me. I don't know how, but they found me. Oh, it says Doc Brown.
You got that camera.
It says Doc Brown on the side of my van. Is why. Yeah. No, I just yeah. So I'm not going. So in a real shitty way, they're kind of like, oh, you weren't willing to get COVID. Guess you don't love Star Wars enough to give us $70 and to see it. So it's just like,
I do not.
Yeah. No, I mean, it just I don't know. This to me doesn't feel like the time to do that kind of shit. You know? That play that exclusivity game, you know, at this time. But once again, we're all pretending like the pandemic's over. So who fucking knows?
I really wish it'd give Disney Plus subscribers the opportunity to pay $30 to watch it. You know what I mean?
I mean, they used to. Well, what they used to do is they used to let the main stage was streamed the whole time, but they would do that thing. We're cutting it off. Insiders only. You know,
yeah,
they would do that whole fucking game, and it is stupid because it's ultimately a big commercial that you've tricked people to paying for, and people have already paid for it. So just fucking put it out. You know. Yeah, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. I mean, but the Celebration things rarely seem to really make a lot of sense. I'm not crazy about Reed Pop either, so I think Reed Pop kind of does a shit job for the most part. But whatever, they did some things that were better as they got better at it, like letting people reserve their panels or whatever. But I also kind of think just hear me out here. If you bought your fucking badge the first day it went on sale, maybe you should have been able to reserve that panel then and not have been put into a lottery with the guy who came fucking 12 months later and bought, you know what I mean? Like it's shit like that. Just it's not very well thought out.
I forgot all about that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like
nothing, man. That's why you're good at this job.
That's why I'm so fucking angry all the time. Like the Hulk.
Yeah. And that's why I laugh all the time. I'm an asshole. It's weird. It's weird. I'm the asshole.
Tyron says that like Chewie should have died. And I go back and forth on it.
Let's just think about that for a second. The reason why I bring it up is a whole fucking reason they rebooted the EU book series was because they killed Chewie.
That isn't why.
That's what they said. That's what they said.
The reason why they killed Chewbacca is because he's a fucking walking dog who can't talk. So he was actually a huge problem. They just were like, we don't know, what is this guy? So Lucas was like, you know what, you guys can kill Chewbacca. That way they could get ready for Revenge of the Sith. And then so that was one of the real reasons that he was actually a problem in print. But is it worth killing Chewbacca, knowing damn well that episode 9 is not the last of the Skywalker saga? That this Lego game that will be called the Skywalker saga for the next 20 years is going to feel incomplete in about 5-6 years, probably. That's where I'm coming. I think for that movie, it might have given that movie some weight. At the same time, with how the movie came out, I'm kind of glad they didn't kill Chewbacca in it.
He could have been the one character. Here's the reason why you don't kill him, because he's the one character that can live long enough outside of Yoda, right? They live a long time. He can connect some of the stuff, and he's not there fucking up lines with stupid dialogue or acting different. No one wants Chewbacca. He's the same character. No one's gonna complain about it. Like he's better than a droid in that way. Like the not killing 3PO is the one I get pissed about. I'm like, that was a time to make them droids dead, so we don't have to deal with this shit no more.
Well, yeah. Also, they could have killed 3PO, and then if they really needed to, they could have undone it because he's a fucking robot. Whereas
right, if they really had a stiffy to bring him back, they could have.
Yeah. But especially like with I feel like 3PO would have been a good person or character to kill because they don't really know what to do with them a lot of the times. They felt like in that era of the films.
I like to give all my protocol droids googly eyes.
Googly eyes, yeah.
I know what to do with them. I give them the googly eyes.
Googly eyes. Hey, you guys ever seen a googly eyed C-3PO?
With the red arm? What he's thinking.
Yeah. Okay. What if we give him googly eyes, a red arm, and roller skates? They're like, JJ, you told me to keep one of those things. Okay, the red arm.
Yeah. All right.
Wasn't Joan Rivers' character on roller skates in Spaceballs?
Yeah.
But
she was great.
But I do agree. I think you're hitting upon like a general like thing here of that there were real stakes issues at play, not stakes like that you chomp on, but like there was really like just a lot of undoing of the previous stakes, and they weren't replaced with better ones. Is what it came down to. And then Palp should have been the Dark Force incarnate. Yeah, like I like that theory. Was it Meg who told us about that theory that it turns out like that how they could continue on from 9?
He needed her to kill her in anger or to strike him down so that he could live forever. He's like in some way gonna come back through that or whatever. Yeah. And boy, if that ends up happening, if they end up picking up on that kind of idea, I'm all about it. Best theory I've ever heard for trying to save some of that stupid shit. Like, yeah.
I'm gonna say like 999 times out of 1,000, every fucking theory I hear is like, that's stupid. That one is actually like takes the material and does make a leap.
Yeah, it's so simple. It works. Yeah. Watch them fuck it up, Jason. Watch them fuck. It'll be some crazy science experiment that Moff Gideon had to work out with. You know what I mean? Some stupid shit. They'll do it again. I hope they don't. I hope
they don't too. Yeah, I'm not too crazy with Star Wars getting too far outside of where it's been, in terms of like the mystical stuff. Like I like there to be a little bit of mystery to it to some extent, and it's a difficult line to like skirt. So it's like I could see how JJ didn't write the ghost in. I could see where he was coming from, but at the end of the day, he opened up a possibility that was better than what he was doing, and that's where he needed to go. Like, he didn't want to accept that, I think. And we knew before the movie came out, like when I was the one who released that, and when I did, I just got hell for it. People are like, you have to be wrong. There's no way they're doing this, and they didn't listen. Of all of the times that they could have. And yeah, I do think it would have been interesting if it had, if there had been more, there had been some sort of other secret kind of side to it. If Snoke had been like the steward, an acolyte, but like a steward of these Sith Lords, sort of like the guy in waiting who's like taking care of them for years, like some weird kind of thing to it. And in the end, he made his own creations impotent and redundant. Very weird choice by JJ. And I think he just thought, when we bring back Palpatine, I'm going to be giving everybody what they want for Christmas. And it's a good example of giving fans what they think they want is not always the best course of action. George Lucas was the exact opposite of that. It's funny how hard this is sometimes. Sheev says, okay, hear me out. Book of Boba Fett Season 2 announcement and a mod Vanth, and the mods are at Celebration. Mod show at Celebration. Hey, we talked about that yesterday, didn't we?
They're getting pinstriping on their mods and shit. Star Wars Santa's down there doing pinstriping commissions.
Yeah, I think that the idea that Rey is a Mary Sue is ultimately pretty much like incorrect. I don't think she's an avatar for J.J. Abrams as this great Force user, and everybody wants to love him, because that's what a Mary Sue is. It doesn't mean a pussy that offends you because it's powerful. It just doesn't mean that. Even though they've sort of made it into that without saying that. But the problem with Rey, if you want to critically analyze the sequel trilogy, and you can critically analyze all of it. Being critical doesn't mean that you don't like it. I do like it. I do like her, but she doesn't actually have a real flaw. She has a problem. Her problem is that she misses her parents, her family, and she's not accepted the reality of it. But then we get to the problem with the story is when we get to Last Jedi. Even Maz Kanata's like, hey, everything you need is right here. And then we get to the next one, and she accepts that she comes from nowhere and nobody, and then it just doesn't really like matter after that. Not in a really profound way. Like Rey's not like Rey could have been quick to anger. Marty McFly, don't call me chicken. Like there could have been something.
I don't like, by the way.
I know.
I would have liked that if it was in the first film.
Yeah.
And even Bob Gale talks about it in the commentary. It's like, had I known, I would have gone back with them. Great. But that shit comes out of nowhere. So you can have a character that has no arc. That's fine. But it means that person has to help a person gain their arc. So Marty helps his father gain an arc, right? Helps other people.
They couldn't keep doing that for a trilogy, though. In Back to the Future, in the Back to the Future instance, I think
they
it
had
would have
initially planned on doing that.
I don't think it was
Crispin
work.
Glover. Well, that's a hypothetical. Yeah, I do. Yeah. You do? Anything with Crispin Glover in it would have worked better than whatever we got. I have to stand by the missing element from 2 and 3 is you don't have that guy at all, and it's sorry, George McFly and Crispin Glover's performance makes that movie. You take it out, Michael J. Fox ain't holding shit compared to that. So, but that means Rey has to be there to help someone else fulfill their hopes and dreams, and she's not there to do that. Yeah. So the movie's just left on an audience arguing over should she be somebody or nobody. That's not. You don't ever want a bunch of movies. Imagine, let's take Star Wars out of it. Let's just say does Mahoney in Police Academy, does he have to come from a grand line of cops, or can he be nobody Mahoney? And then what if that's the whole crux of 6 fucking films? Like, you know, like,
what
be ridiculous.
I kind of have this like theory that, you know, because there is, even if you're not, there is when you're an artist and you make any kind of art, there is sort of this narcissistic connection to, I need to make this art, you know what I mean? Like, it's stuff like that. And so like,
100%.
so there is, in a weird way, most art is made by people with narcissistic tendencies.
100%.
But what you end up with in reality are a bunch of people who come from nobody. So wouldn't the bigger connective idea be that you could come from nobody and become somebody? That seems
Here's
like
the
the idea that would resonate.
Here's how it would work.
Mm-hmm.
Your antagonist needs to believe in the opposite, that my lineage, this whole galaxy needs to be based on lineage, and it's not there enough. The whole First Order should have been like, since we're the First Order, we come from a lineage of Sith, right? The very first Sith ever. This is the remnants of that, and we're all about lineage. They have to be the polar opposite, and they're just not. They're just weak sauce Empire clones, you know? Like, that's how that works. There's nothing to contrast that idea against for her to take a stance on that. It just exists out there in the ether. That's it.
I'm probably getting like a bit fanficky here, but I do in a lot of ways feel like a reorganization of the end of the Rise of Skywalker Palpatine should have seen the kiss somehow. It should have happened in front of him. It should have been, once again, you've missed this very the point is still there, but the thing I like about Return of the Jedi better still is the point is literally at his expense. That love is what saves you. It's what saves the galaxy, and it's still there, but it's like an afternote. It's like and it was like, once again, it doesn't matter what.
He couldn't fathom that torturing Anakin's son in front of him would have an effect.
Yeah.
Like that idea is not something he could grasp. And if he did grasp that in the second, saw it, and then decided to do a trick, or he got her to strike him down so he could come back, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like regroup, there'd be something there, man. That's characters seeing their consequences of their actions, reacting to it, and then making a choice. None of these characters make choices in these films. Man.
Let's also be fair and say that one of the smarter things about the element of Palpatine's use is that he literally tries to take what happened with Luke and Anakin, and he tries to flip that onto Rey. He tries to manipulate that idea. He tries to use that against Rey for his own ends. So he did see like, oh, that works. Oh, I'll play with that. And so I did like that element of it. But once again, you know,
but we never get time with Palpatine for him to like do the math on that idea.
Yeah.
It's not an idea that he's able to present to a confidant. You know, like if he had his own little hench dudes that he's like, little Snokes that he's waxing poeg to or monologuing to. There's nothing there to that. You have to then interpret that in a way that, you know, I felt that the prequels required a lot of interpretation to make work, right? To fill in the gaps.
Yeah.
This I go back and give the prequels a lot of, I go, well, it's at least it's not that big a stretch with the prequels to make those decisions. Other than Padme going, oh, you just killed a bunch of kids? I'm madly, truly, deeply in love with you. That fucking shit makes no. You don't be the queen of a planet who just in the previous film saved her whole fucking planet from like some trade disputes, and then in the next movie be like, oh, you murdered children? I'm in love with you. Like that ain't working for me.
Yeah, but he's hot. You see, that's the thing.
If it were in reverse.
Yeah,
right?
I would do it.
If it were her killing a bunch of kids.
Natalie Portman could kill all your kids.
Yeah.
All your kids.
I could see Anakin going, well, Yeah, I can see Anakin
Yeah.
forgive it. I can't see a woman forgive. Sorry,
No, that's
I can't
sexist.
see it.
That's the
Yeah.
sexual double standard. And I'm going to
Yeah.
say, Padme
Yeah, but
was
I'm willing
that.
to say if we took a poll, we're gonna find out of women, we're gonna find I'm right on this one.
I don't.
Yeah.
You got to show him Hayden Christensen though in his prime.
I don't know, man. I don't think he had it with him. I don't think he had it.
Johannes
haircut.
asks, how high do you think Andor's budget is since they have 12 episodes? So what I'm going to say is, I think number one is I wouldn't be surprised if it was basically like the same as Mando season 1 in that realm. But I think one of the justifications may be the high episode count, because what they did was they built real sets. Like, it's not all done in the volume. This is going to look like a Star Wars movie, more or less, and probably more. And I think that the high episode count may be, if we're spending $80,000 on this fucking set, we need to get use out of it. We need content made on this set. So I think that may have been why they were allowed and able to do these things. That's educated, but still conjecture on my part, for what it's worth. Does that make sense, Rob?
It makes sense. I also think that
It's itchy.
going more traditional
Mm-hmm.
was the call of the showrunner, and probably was like, hey, that it's just been delayed for so long. It was actually like running around the same time as Mando's season 1 or 2 initially. So what could have been like competing philosophies. We'll do this one here with the volume, and we'll do this one traditionally and see which one pans out. And then because of COVID, all that shit got out of whack.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
well, and even here, like right now, like Ahsoka would be filming right now if it wasn't for the fact that they need Mando to get the fuck out entirely, and Avatar's using all of the other stuff. So Avatar's, I think, wrapping up, and then Ahsoka's gonna take over.
Can't wait.
Or is it was Avatar getting out and then Grandma Rodeo is taking over? Something like that. But both will be there once Avatar gets the fuck out and Mando fucking goes to college. Mando goes to college. Season 3, Mando goes to college. So I was talking about Saw before. Oh, okay. All right, well, there we go. Patrick says, off topic, but should I buy an Oculus Quest 2? Been offered one for $150. For $150, I would definitely take it, as long as it's from somebody that you trust, that it's not like doesn't have any problems. There's no there's no hardware failures going on there or anything like that. If it's from someone you trust and you know that it's good, for $150, I would totally get it. Up front, I bought the Oculus Quest, and they had two models. One had a smaller hard drive, one had a big hard drive, and the smaller hard drive was not an issue at all until recently. And that's because games started coming out that allowed you to add mods and stuff like that. So that's maybe the only thing about that kind of stuff is, if you want to mod stuff, you might want to get the one with the bigger hard drive. But for $150 for an Oculus Quest 2, and if you don't have one, I would totally do it. It's totally, you're gonna have a good time playing. If you haven't had a VR headset, you're gonna have a good time playing Vader Immortal. That Star Wars pinball game is so chill. It's so cool. And if you own the Star Wars movies, you could watch them in a really nice theater, like a virtual theater on it. That's just a really fun experience too. So, and you could also do 3D movies.
And if you get DVD Fab, right, spend the money. It's not cheap, but spend the money on it. You can rip your 3D Blu-rays, as I have done, and stream them to the Quest and get yourself the best 3D presentation possible.
He means you could BitTorrent them.
No, you can't.
Like that.
No, I'm going to tell you, with 3D, you do not want to torrent them. I'm being 100%, because the compression fucks up the actual signal. So you really want uncompressed video, which means these files are huge, like 50 gigs when you do that. Yeah. So 50, 70 gigs a pop.
I see.
So no, BitTorrenting them, it doesn't work. This is why I'm super fucking angry that they don't have any way to buy 3D movies on the Quest at all. They don't have 3D content. It's fucking stupid.
I've been missing you so much, girl. Baymax has been busy. Could the Mandoverse somehow include the Battle of Jakku? I mean, just from like from the way that the timeline goes, I feel like the Battle of Jakku has ended at this point, and the fact that we have Luke Skywalker starting the temple makes me feel like it's already happened. Doesn't that feel like Luke wouldn't be there starting that temple unless it had just or already happened? So
I figured the Battle of Jakku was exactly the same age as Rey. Like I really felt like that was like just 20 years.
it's the same age as Kylo.
Kylo.
Mm-hmm. It's the same age as Kylo. Yeah,
Kylo isn't even born yet in this series, right?
Yeah, it's like 1 year after. So it's like the idea is sort of like Han and Leia. They're like laying down there like fucking naked in the Ewok village, like in their like little hut, and like Wicket's bringing them berries, you know. And he's like, "Hey, Wicket,
caravan of threesome."
Yeah,
no, right.
Don't be gross.
Why?
No, I'm kidding. He goes in. He's like, "Hey, Wicket, can you go pick me up some of those pork skin condoms? They feel better." And Wicket's like, "Yeah." And Wicket just fucking leaves. He's like, he doesn't speak English. And then he gets her. He can't wait, and she can't wait. And
I feel like Rian would approve of pork skin condoms.
Pork skin condoms.
It's right up his sense of humor.
They feel better. They feel better.
They do.
And always use condoms, kids. Tyrant. Kotaku image for the Lego Star Wars things. Also, sorry, but it's Kotaku. Oh wait. Did Kotaku cover that? Is that what you're saying? Kotaku's image for the Lego Star Wars things. Also, Kotaku. Sheev the Wise says, "I'll send you guys the Cam Andor footage. Don't worry." Yeah, I know. If they do that, everybody get it. Everybody get it. But
yeah.
So Baymax says, one shitty guy who used to be at Reed Pop is no longer there. Oh, that's good. Yeah, maybe it'll make it a better celebration this year, you know? Probably not though. Probably was there during all the planning. His stink will probably be smelt all around it. James Washington says, Jason, they put in Leia not hugging Chewie in TFA after Han died in Lego Star Wars as a joke. Oh, okay. Got it. Stubbs rules. How's it going, Eric?
It is. It's good. I've made my own low carb barbecue sauce. I have a good recipe. Stubbs is pretty good, dude. Like I would not recommend a barbecue sauce that isn't tasty. It is tasty.
Well, now that
don't have any of the carbs.
Now that it's getting hotter, Eric is going to spend his hard-earned cash and he's gonna barbecue at his place, and I'm gonna go with my kids in his pool, and I'm gonna eat Stubbs at your house. So now you've done it. That'll teach you. Yeah. I just invited myself. Kevin says, did Mel Brooks talk about Star Wars doing a sequel to Spaceballs before the beer bug hit? Did Mel Brooks talk about doing a sequel to Spaceballs? You know, there was like that time when they were going to make a Spaceballs sequel and it just couldn't get it going ever, even like during the prequels. And then finally it was like that cartoon, and it was like not even with Mel Brooks, if I remember right. It was just like something else.
I thought there was a rights issue to Spaceballs.
Is that what it was? Yeah, it was like it just never. Yeah, got Lego Star Wars yesterday. Knocked out A New Hope. Little glitchy, but a lot of fun. You know what? I've had my fair share of glitches with it as well. I was last night. I was trying to get the stream going, couldn't get the stream going, but decided like my kid's gonna want all the stuff. So I was like, you know what? I'm kind of a completist. I'll go back and start trying to get the stuff. But we're on Return of the Jedi, or we're on Empire. He went to his mom's house, and it's driving him crazy. But his mom's going away for the weekend, and so I'm going to have them this weekend. So they, you know, otherwise they wouldn't see their mom for like a week, and so they have to go there. And when they come back, we're gonna get caught up. But it sucks because I want to get all of the stuff that he won't get, or you know, like all of the hidden stuff and everything. But you can't really do it unless you play through the whole game. Otherwise, you don't have like all the character or most of the characters who do the moves and stuff. It's kind of annoying. Because
I'm very sympathetic to bugs. You know, I understand how complicated these games are to make. Like, it's really hard. Like, I don't care at what level you're at. It's also one of the reasons why, like, when Chris brought up yesterday about wanting like a Zelda game with just some more content every 2 years, I'm like, the hell that Q&A has to go through to get a game. They have to start certifying at the 12 to 18 month mark, and usually it's later. So they got like 4 months, to QA a whole game. And then you're wondering why, well, the game ship broke. No, these games are way more complicated than what was going down on a Super Nintendo or a PlayStation, like it's super complex. So the weird part about this is how long have they been sitting on the game, right? I imagine the bugs, the thing with bugs is the more systems you ship on, that's where you're going to have your problem. So this shipped on everything. That's the problem. Like, there's just all sorts of weird. You're going to get bugs that are on the Xbox that ain't on PlayStation, that ain't on PC, and vice versa, and all the way around. So that's why generally you want a lead system to ship on, and then 6 months down the road, roll out another system. 6 months down the road, roll out another system. That pisses off fans, but that's why they do that.
I'm generally like okay with there being, like minor, minuscule bugs that don't really matter too much. Like, when we were on Coruscant, me and my son would get on the ship to like drive away, and it would like take me off and drive him away, and then I would just be there. I'd be like, "What the fuck," But I'm okay with there being like a very minor amount, some bugs on release day, as long as they fix it in a good amount of time, sooner than later. Then I'm okay with it.
The greatest bug of all time was on Donkey Kong 64.
Yeah?
The bug was so bad, the game could not be played. The game that shipped could not be played. The only way they could fix it at the warehouse was to package it with the expansion, the RAM expansion pack. And they didn't need the RAM. They put the bug fix in the fucking RAM in the expansion pack. So when they're like, you need this expansion pack to play Donkey Kong 64, it didn't even use the RAM. It just needed that patch so the game worked. So when fans now try to tell me that games always shipped, they never shipped broke before. No, Donkey Kong 64 cannot work. Because of that. Yeah, it's hilarious.
Eric says, I made him eat his first McRib.
There are worse things you could eat in this world, and I will detour you to Del Taco and just pick anything off the list. Like,
I've definitely eaten some things worse than fiberglass. Mike Porter says, that dude is on computer. All right, Mike, you got it. Tyrant says, Avatar 2 needs to come out and flop.
Give me your tears.
What's gonna be weird is that if Avatar 2 does come out and flop, is that haven't they already filmed? Have they filmed all of them together?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's kind of weird about it. If it does,
they've seen the footage. It doesn't suck.
Yeah,
like I'm telling you, there's no way Disney, having seen the footage, commits to that schedule if they think they got a real loser on their hands. Just letting you know.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I know we've talked about how you don't bet against Cameron. You classically will have lost, but that's only true until it isn't. And corporations tend to go like, well, that's always been the case. And then we find out, oh, well, this time it failed. This time it didn't work. This time it was more American Graffiti or whatever, to use the George Lucas moment. I know it's not.
It's just not, Jason.
Yeah,
look,
I know.
Do they think it needs to make $3 billion at the box office? No, they don't. They don't think it needs to make.
Do we know how much they're costing? How much it's costing for each film?
I imagine amortizing over the films, it probably falls into the 150 million when you actually amortize the cost. I imagine it's a giant upfront, but Cameron, everything he does is based around economics. People think like he just likes to spend money, but he doesn't. He's the one guy who he literally has put in his own money to finish films, like at his own fucking expense to get that shit done. So, yeah, like, am I expecting this to be the greatest film you've ever seen, Rob? No, I expect to go in there and have a real good fucking time and see literally what you say Star Wars should be. The roller coaster ride, the big special effects push. This is the big special effects push. That's what he's going to give you. Something none of these other films are even trying. And now Michael Bay's making ambulance movies, so even he ain't trying. So You know?
Bestman saw it and he said it's a Michael Bay movie. He said so make no mistake about it. But he also said, you know what? It's a pretty good Michael Bay movie though. It's
Michael Bay complained about the CGI in that film. So when Michael Bay goes on record bitching about his own film, then you got a problem.
I don't know. I've never liked a Michael Bay movie, so I don't really have a dog in the fight. In my opinion, if Michael Bay is complaining about his own movie, it's probably good. That's my take. But I don't like Michael Bay. Mike Porter says, no wonder the dude is a computer. He has knowledge.
No, I have a turbo button. See, turbo button right there. See it? The turbo button's pushed.
Yeah, it gives him more speed.
Keeps me sure.
Mike says, I'm waiting for that tender moment in Mandalorian where one of the characters looks gently down at Grogu and says, you're a blinking puppet. Did you watch Moon Knight Part 2? The Reckoning?
I did. Yes, I did.
Yeah, I like I think this idea of taking Fight Club and making your Tyler Durden Indiana Jones is fun.
I also think the idea of doing your origin stories as TV series with smaller scale, situations and getting to know the characters and not overdoing a budget is the right way to go. You know what I mean? Like, so when they do take Moon Knight to the screen, they can do the big budget. Matter of fact, we were talking about this yesterday, the whole starting a series on, say, Disney Plus and culminating in a movie and what that'll look like. And I felt Moon Knight was sort of the first to do that. And that is true in terms of a new character, but seeing some of the scenes in Doctor Strange 2 from the WandaVision, with the cinema grade level effects and the color grading, vastly different, right? Like, and so that's the benefit, man. That means you can do all this, trying to shove all this stuff into a 2-hour film. It would be very schlocky. It would come off as like a cheap, I'm doing the little voice and but now I'm Moon Knight. Like, you know what I mean? All this compressed down into like 30 minutes, which is, they would have done in a film, 20 to 30 minutes, these 2 episodes. You don't have the time to get to know any of the characters or care. Like steak time, like you wouldn't get that in the film. They'd kind of cut through that, to get to his wife.
Like remember that part in Black Panther where Black Panther is like I'm the Black Panther king guy, and then like, does anybody want to challenge me? And then that one guy's like, I challenge you. Remember that moment?
Yep. Jakku.
That's like my favorite part of that movie probably, and I like the movie, but so it's probably like my favorite part of it, and but that could have been a Disney Plus thing very easily. Like looking back at that and like that whole thing, and like a lot of the before you get into like the epic battle stuff of that story. That whole thing could have been on Disney Plus too, I mean it's a great successful movie, so they made the right choice.
Or in another film, in the way that like in Civil War you see like the stuff with his father, right? Like, I mean there's a version where that isn't in that movie, and they try to shove all that stuff into a Black Panther film, and then you would just feel like these are cheap and you don't get time to know them. Yeah, that's what the series are for. I'm not expecting to go in there and be like, we're throwing the money at the series. That's not what I want. I want this kind of stuff, where you get to just hang out with the characters. You get a really cool sequence. They know what they're making. They show me something I didn't expect. The characters are behaving in a way that's like his little computer buddy, where he's like, this is going to be great. You're going to watch this. Like, that's what 2 guys would do. Like, that isn't a shticky moment, like, yeah, it was, yeah.
Yeah. When I just saw the first episode, I wasn't really feeling like I had a hard time seeing Oscar Isaac, who, even though he's a guy for the most part that women would find unattractive because of his personality, the timidness and stuff that generally speaking, the way that he is. I was like, that's still fucking Oscar Isaac. He's a beautiful man. Some superficial fucking lady would see past
being
it.
sexist.
I know. No, I'm actually going doing the opposite way. I'm going Padme would want that D. She wouldn't care. She didn't care if he killed kids or not, or if he's a fucking nerd. Oscar Isaac would still be slaying. And where I'm going with it is it wasn't until the second episode when he's playing Mark and what's his nerd name?
Steven.
When he's playing Steven and Mark in the same like moments together, that I was like, oh, he's pulling it off and it works great. I kind of think that it doesn't matter now because both episodes are out. But if I had got to see both episodes together, I would have, any issues I had with the show were completely erased by the second episode. So that's when we're getting the first two would have been wise.
There's also a multiverse situation where there's an episode, there's an Attack of the Clones where Anakin's having that inner monologue with his evil side. You know, like there's a more Anakin centric like dealing with that. You know, that there's two sides to him. You know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and then that's I couldn't help but think of that Rey theory, the Palpatine Rey theory that Meg brought up. And I was like, it could be kind of interesting.
I love the idea that he would latch onto her and haunt her.
Yeah. And
if she looked in the mirror and she sees him, you know what I mean? Like, and he's like talking to her and like, that's all cool shit you can do there, like.
Well, I mean, it would be a way of Rey has to remove herself from everything because of this reason. She needs to go away. She can't be in the fold. She can't have Palpatine all of a sudden potentially possessing her and then doing something terrible. And so she needs to become a recluse. And then you have a whole thing you can do there. Because I do think, but I do think that this story in a weird way is kind of funny because he was sort of playing Indiana Jones in episode 9. And it just wasn't a very good Indiana Jones movie. And so it's kind of fun that you see an Oscar Isaac get to kind of play a good indie in his own way, like or a different indie, so to speak. But but I'm digging the show though. I'm gonna keep watching it. I'm looking forward to the third one. I didn't even know who Moon Knight was until like last week. So
I would also say too, like that's all I'm asking for each show from these companies is to have its own tone. Each show should be if you like one show, you shouldn't necessarily like the next one. It should have its own tone that maybe that one isn't for you. They're getting a different, audience on the next one. Maybe you like all of them like me, but if you really like Loki, maybe you're not into Hawkeye. That's fine.
Yeah.
But the problem is
Hawkeye's the one I haven't liked.
Which is fine. Like, but if you're trying to make every show for everybody, then you end up in that CW territory where look, it's just generically the same shit over and over again.
Well, you don't grow your brand. You're just selling the same stuff to the same people. That's one of the things that for whatever reason, like I talked about, we knew from the very start, Star Wars wanted the Hunger Games crowd. They wanted girls who liked fantasy sci-fi stories. And there was a whole market there, and Star Wars had already grown. It wasn't grown anymore. It grew up. It had all its fans, all its boys, and that they were trying to get women involved who liked fantasy sci-fi. That's what they were aiming for with those.
Probably should have had a woman write the script. The problem is when you do that,
fair,
all
dude.
the people in charge of the projects are dudes. That's the problem. And going to Lawrence College doesn't count, JJ. Sarah Lawrence or whatever the fucking college. We do with a bunch of girls. All right, bosom buddy.
It is where JJ discovered he was a lesbian. So you can't take that away from him. He does kind of look like Katie Lang sometimes. Just
come and knock on my door.
Wait, that's Three's Company. Weren't we going?
I know. Buddies? I don't have the bosom buddies on.
Yeah, what is the bosom buddies theme song?
Hold on. What is it? It's the Billy Joel song, right?
I don't remember. the bosom buddies.
Don't need you worry, it's my life.
It's my life. It's my life. Is that one, huh? My life.
So right now, Star Wars Santa's yelling in his car. It's my life.
Wait, I'm
you idiots.
That line is also in Perfect Strangers, isn't it? It's my life, my time. Nothing's gonna stop me now.
But that's the guy who did the theme song to Family Matters, and it's the same guy who did Family Matters and Full House.
Yeah.
So there's a great YouTube edit where they interchangeably jump between each song and step by step, and you can't fucking miss a beat. Because that genius motherfucker made those 4 fucking songs and never had to work again.
Yeah.
My fucking hero, that guy.
I still think it's amazing that the dad from Growing Pains wrote the Facts of Life and Different Strokes and all that shit.
Alan
Alan
Thicke.
Thicke. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. And his son plagiarized music. That's even greater.
And his son just steals it.
Yeah.
He's the Kylo Ren of the family, you know? He was the Han Solo. He's the Kylo Ren. I mean,
yeah.
It
Alan Thicke is a Han Solo, you know? He's a bit of a
Yeah.
coxman, right? He's good. Yeah. And then, you nailed that one perfectly.
I mean, how many, I don't know. Like, is there really a time? I mean, like when you have like a really amazing father who's good, and then you have like an offspring comes and they're good too. Not really, you know, like Julian Lennon.
Well, Ivan Reitman's kid,
but
right?
He's not like, but he never put out
Jason Reitman, right? Ivan Reitman.
Yeah, but he hasn't necessarily. I don't know if he's like. I don't know if he's an Ivan Reitman though. You know what I mean?
But he's a good director.
He's competent. He's a competent director.
Ivan Reitman couldn't make Jason Reitman movies as well as Jason Reitman, and vice versa.
Juno kind of makes me mad though. Like I also wanted to like Juno, but it kind of just pisses me off, you know. But whatever.
Well, that's how I feel about that movie Ivan Reitman made with the Revenge of the Nerds guy. The one he did after Ghostbusters. That fucking movie.
Johanna says, "Is Grammar Rodeo live action?" Since they're filming it in El Segundo, I fucking hope so, dude. Because there's going to be some Roger Rabbit shit going on. If not, yeah, it should be live action. Mike Porter says, "Yeah, I'm listening and yelling it out loud." And then Tyrant says, "If Star Wars wants the Hunger Games crowd, they need to make Lost Stars into a movie show as soon as possible because it's a fast-paced, young adult original story with all the nostalgia Lucas loves to chase." Yeah. But once again, that came after, and I think Rey and the concept of Rey and where they were going with it was that grab, as was Rogue One. Like they weren't just regardless. It's actually way more evil and capitalistic than being woke, as YouTubers would have you think. It was actually very much the opposite. It was just pure fucking capitalism. They if it had turned out that you know, I don't know. I mean,
woke is just the modern fascist term for PC. Remember they used to throw that shit around in the 90s, all these conservatives. Oh, you're PC now. Oh, you're politically correct. I'm a rebel. I say what I want. I can use the N-word whenever I want. That's all it's just code for that shit. You know, now they're using woke, you know, bunch of fucking assholes. Like I hate seeing the worst part of the 90s just get revamped and remade like The Force Awakens, right? It's like sort of a remake of a movie. This is what we're living in. Is this like a shitty remake of the 90s? We're complaining about Hillary Clinton, right? Donald Trump's everywhere. You know, the Republicans have taken over everything and they got Rush Limbaugh and it just fucking sucks.
Sucks. Well, the thing with us never being able to get it right is what it does too. Is it seems like it wears people down. Like I remember like old guys who would still say colored people, and then somebody would be like, "Oh, you can't say that." And then I saw them get met. I can't. I didn't. Well, it's what we always said. And then they go like, okay. And then they would say black, and then they were told that they couldn't say black, and that so like those like people they just end up like getting like make up your fucking mind is like kind of like they're like dumb at it, even like when they're not even like truly. Not saying that they don't have their issues, but when they just got like so like worn out, and then now it's to a place where you could just exploit that up and down the
my mom
with those people, you know.
My mom was with a guy for almost 10 years. I think they got married, but I don't know. She would never tell him if she got married again, and she didn't want to admit it. But his name was Jimmy Wilkins, and he was one of the right-hand men to the sheriff of San Diego. They got thrown out because they all abused. It was crazy. Remember, they took helicopter rides, all sorts of crazy shit, my mom and Jimmy and their crew. But Jimmy was like a civil rights era Black American, right? Mm-hmm. And sort of his generation. And his parents were Depression era. You know, their parents kind of like knew their parents were slaves, right? Like, so it's like 2 generations removed. And so I would during Christmas, I'd be at the house. And so these were just older Black Americans having an argument. His parents preferred the term colored. He preferred Black American, hated the African American moniker, was super right wing. You know, like they were, it was just, that's when I realized America's more complex than TV's telling me. You know, it's just complex. And there isn't any really easy way to cover grounds for everyone other than don't be a fucking asshole. You know?
I mean, I ultimately, like, I think the big takeaway is, like, I'll call anybody what they want to be called, as long as
what
it's
they
not
want to be called,
daddy or God, you know, or something like that. And unless you're Oscar Isaac, daddy,
my Lord and Savior.
But
time.
Oh, that's a pretty good impression.
I've been there, man. I used to be so bad with not my concept of time, but my concept of remembering to do shit with people. I would always agree to do shit and just because I'm in my own world, I'd forget. So then, like, that moment where you're waiting for someone, and like, fucker, that was 3 days ago. You're supposed to be there. I was like, oh.
When I was in college, I remember reading some papers about the African diaspora. Have you heard of that? You know about that kind of stuff? It's pretty sad. It's pretty fucked up, man. So there were you had a lot of well, in this instance of this paper I'm going to talk about, it was a woman, and she was really big on embracing the moniker of African American, and so they decided that they were going to move to Africa. They were tired of racist whites telling them go back to Africa. And like, you know what, we're gonna do it. They killed Martin Luther King. The shit's all fucked up. Let's get the fuck out of here, you know. And so they sold all their stuff, moved to Africa. But when they got to Africa, they found the racism was actually no, not even that from other Black American people. Because what happens is they don't look African. There's so much like white ancestry in them through slavery that they're like more brown than Black. And there was a word that I cannot recall, but it basically back during like more tribal times, it meant our tribes fucked you up and you are trash. And
well,
so
my roommate and my two roommates were both Black American. I was on a post that was 50-50 in terms of ethnicity, and it was really interesting. But my first roommate, Epps, he was like a little nerdy kid who then around Germany he would act hard. Like he'd put on a coat because Germans were afraid of him, right? And it was really? Like he's the biggest nerd. Oh, he's the biggest nerd there is. Like it's hilarious. It's like watching Tay try to become, you know, like Sam Jackson.
Tay is Tupac.
Yeah,
who was also acting. Tupac was like a fucking nice guy.
But I sort of dated this girl for like a month. Sort of dated. I couldn't never commit because I was in my own. She was beautiful, but she was British Black, right? So she had the accent, and I had she came over once.
Right now, you sound like an idiot to me.
Yeah, well, when she spoke, Ebbs had never heard a Black person with an English accent before.
Oh, okay.
And the look on his face is just imagine the worst, like you know, almost Ernest P. Worrell. Like he had this ill look. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, why is she talking now? I'm like, you can't. She's right in front of you. Like, what are you doing, dude? What are you doing,
dude?
He just was not prepared for that experience. You know, like
For our next exercise, I would like you to enter me for 30 thrusts. Let's do that 10 times, and continue until I say we're done.
So that
in reverse. It was in reverse.
Yeah.
That was
so
the
that
reverse.
Scene. That's essentially my workout program on Oculus Quest, except for exercise. Like hers for sex, right?
Wait. There's a Daisy Ridley fuck game, and
but you can do this gym workout.
It makes you not fat.
I wish, but they have this like timer and like people are actually there, like the real people, gym instructors, you know, guiding you through shit. It's all good, you know. It's super motivational. Yeah. But I'm like, so they took that and then made like a sex thing out of it, right? All right. The Oculus Kegel or whatever it's called. Like
I'll tell you this, I will never accidentally shit my pants because I've been doing those Kegel butt muscle exercises for days. All right, enough of that.
So hard it went in reverse, came out my nose.
like when Harry Potter spits out the fucking Quidditch thing.
Yeah, just like that.
All right. Well, anyways, we are well over, so we'll call this a show. We'll come back tomorrow and do it again. Sound like a good idea to you?
Sure, we'll do that.
Miss you, Max. I'll text Max after. Hopefully, Max's internet's back, and she'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully. Anyways, everyone have a good day, and stay healthy and all that jazz. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. I just need to end the show. Here we go.
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
You know you should go.
Come on, let's go. It's not about spaceships.